Hi, I'm Mike.
I'm Morgan.
And this
Is
EV in the Sticks. Sorry about our absence of 3 months.
Yeah, we had some things happen. I had a heart attack, and my sister died, and we had some family things happen, and then we had to prep for a comeback.
But the comeback's going to be great. We have completely revamped our studio. We've added cutting-edge technology, and we are ready to deliver you prime EV content. And not just any EV content, but EV content for people in the sticks.
That's what we're talking about, EV in the Sticks.
Also, like this video and subscribe to our channel so that you can get all the latest and best EV content, not just on individual vehicles, but industry-wide. Speaking about being an EV channel covering EVs for people who live out in the middle of nowhere, what would you say if I told you about a 400-mile range truck? So in our absence, the Silverado EV dropped at CES 2022. Let's talk about it.
Silverado, they're only asking $100 to reserve this thing.
I like that $100 is sort of becoming an industry standard and something you can count on. Cybertruck, F-150, Silverado. It's good to know what it's going to cost you to reserve it. So the first thing we always talk about with EVs is Range, as they say, is king. Both the work truck and RST models of the truck come with 400 miles of range. That's a very impressive figure. That gets me thinking that even if you only get half your range while towing, you're still looking at 200 miles. That's extremely capable. And I do believe that it's being built on GM's Ultium platform, which is supposed to be a modular system. So in the future, I look for options to customize how many modules you're going to have in the battery to raise and lower the range and raise and lower the price to meet your needs.
Yes. Now, is that 400 miles with all of the batteries or just half of them, or we don't know?
I think for right now, in the early going, all of them are going to be 400 miles. I think using the modular feature of Ultium is probably going to come later, would be my speculation. But
that's why we're here, just to give you our speculations. And if you have another one, please give us a comment. We'd like to
absolutely
hear it all and know what everybody's thinking.
And let's talk about if you want to use this truck as a tool, like those of us who live out in the sticks need to use trucks for.
A tool. Now, trucks, if you're going to be using them for working, pulling trailers or pulling boats, or if you're going to do actual work with this vehicle, go out, you need to know its capabilities, and the stats we need to talk about are the horsepower is the first one we're going to cover. And the press release says they have 664 horsepower coming out
in the RST. What's the work truck got?
Now the work truck, it says it can come in a model that's only got 510 horsepower, which
is still very respectable.
That's probably that low dollar price that you see is the 510.
Absolutely.
I'm betting it's only 510 horse. But still, that's when you compare that to an ICE vehicle, you're still awesome.
Miles ahead.
And then they also got a 780 foot-pounds of torque. And that 780 foot-pounds of torque also goes into about a 615 foot-pounds of torque in that lower work truck. And that's, the Rally Sport is what the RST is, and work truck they tend to call WT.
So what kind of 0 to 60 does this thing have?
This stat I got to tell you, we're gonna report this stat, but I don't think in trucks this particular stat matters anymore. But
You're not drag racing your pickups?
no,
Come
well,
on, Morgan.
you might hook them up. You're going to be more worried about whether or not you can pull that half-ton Chevy on the parking lot, the ICE vehicle, or that half-ton F-150 ICE
Or if you
vehicle.
can pull somebody out of the snow. I mean, Missouri got pelted with 12 inches recently.
Oh yeah, snow. Yeah,
You got to be able to pull somebody out of a ditch matters a lot more than your 0 to 60 on a work truck.
yeah. I think it's definitely not important. But anyway, it does 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. Now, that's pretty quick. That's quicker than most ICE vehicles. And when you're going, it's a quick truck. It's not slow.
It's not supercar territory, but for a truck, it's pretty zippy. Here's the other impressive feature of this truck. It's supposed to be able to charge at 350 kilowatts. Now, it's true, I don't know what the charge curve looks like, how much it tapers as the battery gets full, etc. But GM takes that 350 kilowatt peak charge rate, and they claim it's going to add 100 miles in just 10 minutes of charging.
And here's it's so amazing because when I think about what I have as a Chevy Bolt, there were people that did have leased EV1s a long time ago. When you think about what we deal with, the Bolt, it's got supercharging at 50.
But it's going to take you an hour to charge to 80%.
Right. That's what it takes when you're driving down the highway. It takes you some time to charge. And we only charge at 50, which was standard in the years that it came out.
In 2017, it was pretty good.
It was pretty advanced. Today, the F-150 is at 150, 150, and this is at
which
350.
means that the peak charge rate on the Silverado is over 3 times as fast. I don't know what that charge curve looks like. We won't know that until this truck gets in people's hands. But it is a charging monster. And it comes with another feature as well. It comes with GM's hands-free driving assist program, Super Cruise. On over 20,000 miles of road in the United States, you can drive this vehicle completely hands-free.
Even in the Teslas, you can't do that.
Absolutely. Even Teslas have torque reminders with.
Yeah, you have to touch the steering wheel. You have to reach up there and say, "Yeah, I'm awake, watching the road." Every 30 seconds or whatever.
Finally, the vehicle has 10,000 pounds of towing capacity, at least in the RST.
Yeah, the RST in that same press release as before, it puts the 10,000 pound capacity in bright bold letters, but down in the fine print, it'll tell you that in the work truck, it can also come in an 8,000 pound towing capacity. Now this, for a pickup truck today, that's kind of low, but to be fair, half-ton pickup trucks towing 8,000 pounds used to be industry standard, and you're going to be able to tow your camper and stuff well, you're not going to be able to tow a super camper, a big one, but most campers you'll be able to tow with that. 8,000 pounds.
That'll get the job done, to be sure.
You put any boat in the water, you're going to be fine.
And Mary Barra, GM CEO, threw us a couple curveballs at CES as well. She announced that they were coming out with an all-electric Equinox and an all-electric Blazer. And they didn't reveal any details on these vehicles, but you can believe me, EV and the Sticks will be here to cover those as more details are revealed. Now let's talk about the industry for a minute.
The whole EV on a whole there's
Absolutely.
a lot of things happening right now.
There were some promises made in this announcement that I'm just a little bit skeptical of.
I'm going to say, yeah, I don't think they've played the EV game.
Yeah, so Mary Barra consistently claims that General is a leader in electric vehicles. But how many electric vehicles did GM sell in Q4 of 2021?
Did you not tell me 26? 3?
26. Might as well be 3.
In comparison to the industry.
26. Not 2,600.
However,
26.
They put a lot of bolts on the road.
They did. The question is, does GM still have it? Can they make another vehicle that's going to take the electric world
I
by
know they're
storm?
making some pretty large promises in this model. I can tell you that. It's shocking me to see these things coming
Some
out.
things that concern me is I think Mary Barra is being really unrealistic about the chip shortage problem. She recently told in a number of interviews that she thinks GM is just about out of the chip shortage, whereas Ford's CEO Jim Farley is saying the opposite, that the chip shortage is going to be here to stay for years to come. It is true they're building chip plants right here in the United States, but these are going to take time to come online. It doesn't seem to me that there's an easy out for automakers for the chip shortage. And if Mary Barras thinks she's got one, I'd love to see what card she's got in her hand.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing something. And also in the industry, I'm reserved next in line to get the F-150 out of my dealership, and hope another wave comes through with my name in it, or with a truck coming from my dealership. I am ready to get one.
Just to talk about the F-150 lightning shortage for a second, at our dealership in Fremont, Nebraska, Deers Ford, I'm number 6 in line, he's number 3 in line, and we both have same night reservations that the F-150 was revealed. These vehicles, because of the chip shortage, are taking a long time to get into people's hands. I look for the Silverado to be the same type of thing. I honestly think we're going to see F-150s Lightnings at some point this year. Maybe not our Lightnings, but they're going to be out on the road this year. I don't look for this GM Silverado EV for probably 2-3 years at best, especially with how, contrary to the rest of the industry, Mary Barra's statements about the chip shortage seem to be.
Well, I know that F-150 also made promises of you could get any model you wanted, any size. You can get the Pro, you can get the Lariat, as many as you want. You can get any one. Yeah, sure. And now,
And the
after the
sold
first
out.
round of trucks that they sold, oh, we're sold out of Pros. How can you sell out of something you don't make? You ain't got none of them made. You got to make them. How can you sell out of them? But they already sold them out.
It definitely.
And when they promised us a truck and we paid the money for the reservation and we took the time to keep following this up, some of us feel slapped in the face to get an additional $10,000 added to our bill.
It feels like a little bit of a bait and switch, to be sure. Now, I say all this not because I'm down on EVs. I love EVs. That's why our channel's dedicated to EVs. But what I see as the main problem is, it seems to me that the traditional automakers, GM, Ford, Stellantis, I don't think that their heart is really in EVs. I think a lot of their problems is because they're still prioritizing gas cars. GM claims they're transitioning to an all-electric future by 2035. That doesn't seem likely when they sold 26 last quarter. Tesla sold 308,000 last quarter. Last quarter, I'm just talking Q4.
And what kind of cars were those 26 cars that they sold?
25 were Bolt EVs, and one was a Hummer EV. And whereas Tesla sold 308,000 cars, every one of them electric. The conventional automakers, to me, it looks like they just can't be trusted to do the right thing when it comes to electric vehicles.
And they probably got their hands in. They probably got relationships with oil companies and stuff
suppliers
like that too.
and
but that's, you're not going to get rid of oil companies because we're still going to need grease and oil and lube, and we could do anything we can do to help the environment. And
absolutely.
So we like all EVs. I'm dissing them for. I have said some negative things about the F-150 because I wanted this and I'm not allowed to get it anymore. I'm still liking it that I want to buy this truck.
You're still intending to buy the XLT.
This truck is the one that I want to get. So I know that the Silverado beats it in what it says its capabilities are in most cases. And
it almost looks like GM held off just long enough to see where the F-150 was going to land, just so they could say, we're going to beat them just by a little bit in each and every spec.
And they succeeded in that. And we knew they would. We had our own personal speculation that they would exceed the specs on the F-150, but the F-150 is going to be, I think, extremely collectible in the future. The first model of the first year run of the first electric American, or I get Rivian's American too, I guess.
I'd say Rivian's pretty darn American.
But I think the F-150 is going to have some value as a classic car in 20 years. I'm just very excited about getting my F-150.
Absolutely. But what it comes down to
is, even though business makes me angry,
we need EV enthusiasts to apply pressure to the traditional automakers. If you don't release electric cars for me to buy, I will not buy any vehicle. If it's not electric, I don't want it. And we need EV enthusiasts to apply that kind of pressure. If you have to wait for your vehicle, wait for the vehicle. But don't buy what the dealer has on the lot if they don't have an electric car. It's that simple.
There is an electric car on a lot somewhere around you, I guarantee it. So,
vote with your wallet if you're an EV enthusiast. Also, like this video and subscribe to our channel so that you can get all the latest and best EV content, not just on individual vehicles, but industry-wide. And this has been EV in the Sticks.